this party started. Hey there, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle here with you. It is just about 10 o'clock. Had a few storms out there for today for our Easter, so happy Easter to you. Hope it was great, friends and family. Had some more storms last night too. Some big hail producers out there in southwest Oklahoma. No tornadic activity though, so I just kind of sat here and watched them behind the scenes and kind of worked on stuff and improving graphics and working on things kind of better, give you better quality from AT's weather to you. So you may have noticed a little bit of a change there, so hope you enjoy that. So what we're going to do, of course, is talk about what we always do here, and that is the weather. It's crazy. Difference of today, lunchtime, it was nice, tranquil, mid-70s out there, sunshine, light breeze, and then, 30 minutes later, old man winter came roaring. That was just nasty. Why would he have to do that, right? So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about here for tonight. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for telling your friends and family about me. I get a lot of messages all the time. You guys when you're new to town, somebody said, you got to watch this guy. And you stuck around with me since then, so I appreciate that. That means I must be doing something right. And that way I'm kind of helping you guys out with regards to the weather. All right, well, let's move on here. I'm going to switch gears. We'll get to the maps. Let me minimize some of this stuff. And then we shall get on with the big show. Okay. There we go. All right, now the first thing we need to talk about is these temperatures. My goodness, it's into the 30s. We're almost at freezing already here in central Oklahoma. Up in northwest Oklahoma, you guys are like, well, we're pretty close to that too. We're at 34 degrees, and we're going to continue to fall here throughout the evening hours. Now, if you factor in the winds, which were brutal today, up around 50 miles per hour, they've calmed down to about 20, gust of 30 at times. And so with that, as a matter of fact, let's take a look at the wind gusts. Here's a look at them now. They're 39 still here in Oklahoma City. Wind gust of 39 on the west side of town. Enid, you got a wind gust of 33, but it's in the 20s out here in northwest Oklahoma. So it's starting to come down versus the 50s that we saw earlier today. But the wind chill associated with that, whoa, feels like 26 in Enid. Feels like 27, 28 degrees here in central Oklahoma. So southeast Oklahoma, don't worry. You got some of that cold stuff coming your way as well. So it won't be long before you get a little bit of taste of the fun stuff. And, you can call it fun if you want. All right, let's get on with the forecast as far as what you can expect here down the road. All right, let's go with this guy here. So, lows tonight will be below freezing here across central Oklahoma. Points up to the north and northwest. All this area here in blue represents their freezing point. That stretches from Arkansas into really south central Oklahoma and then back out to the south and west. So a large area of state seeing a freeze tonight. Now as we head into when you factor in the winds in the morning, by the way, they won't be as strong, of course, of now, but will be a few degrees colder. So when you head out the door, it'll feel like 20 degrees here in Oklahoma City. It'll feel like 17 up for you guys up at Ponca City and 17 in Enid. So check your calendar. Last I checked, we're in the middle of April, but woo, it is what it is. So what's going to happen, though, temperatures will rebound a little bit for Monday. We'll try to hit around 50 degrees, believe it or not. So we'll be a little bit of a warm-up here for the afternoon. You can get some wild swings in temperatures this time of the year. Now, as we head on into Tuesday morning, we're not necessarily going to freeze over many areas. You can see mid-30s here in central Oklahoma. There's some freezing numbers kind of slid in there in the north and out parts of the west, but not as much as what we'll see by tomorrow morning. And the key is for that is more cloud cover and some snow. No, I didn't stutter. You're here for snow. Don't lie to me. I don't know why you're here. You're wanting me to jump right into it anyway. All right, but look, I'm going to, dangle the carrot in front of you for a little bit longer. But we'll get there, though. Here's Wednesday morning, and I want to show you temperatures once again into the 20s and 30s. So if you have those tender plants, I hope you covered them up over the weekend because they're suffering out there. And they're going to suffer for, a while here, at least in the short term. All right, so that's what I want to show you with that. And yes, we're going to have a little bit of that white stuff coming our way. Here's a look at how things ought to progress with that. It starts out across New Mexico, moves in the Texas Panhandle by tomorrow morning, just kind of slowly meanders off to the east, A little batch there starts to pick up in intensity Monday afternoon out across western Oklahoma, western parts of the Panhandle, then starting to move into Oklahoma, that is. So head into, let's see, there is the 12 o'clock time frame. So you can see that blue stuff kind of transversing the state from west to east. And then as we head into Tuesday morning, still a little bit left over through the lunchtime hour, and then it's pretty much gone. So that's not bad, you know, for a little bit of snow activity this time of the year. That's how the motion will transpire. Now, the reason for that, we've got a upper level disturbance coming our way. So it's not a huge, matter of fact, here's a kind of a comparison. Here's today's, all right? So today's, it kicked off a lot of those nasty storms, a strong upper level low, and you get a lot of lift in this area from the upper level low. And they had a lot of severe weather east of here, you know, in the southern parts of the country. So a lot of tornadoes in that area, which is not good to have, by the way. And there were some rather large ones, from what I understand. So those are kind of a bad deal in that situation. Now, if we look at what's coming our way, we're going to get rid of this stronger low. And we're just going to place a little bit of energy. This is all mid-level energy coming through Tuesday night. These little brighter colors equals lift in the atmosphere. That's in the mid-levels. We go down a little bit lower at the 700 millibar level. These little red areas, again, indicate lift moving through from Monday night into Tuesday morning. So it's going to squeeze out whatever moisture is available to produce a little bit of snow. Now, if we do look at the sounding forecast, it does show that snow should be the primary dominant type here, as the atmospheric sounding is well below freezing at all but the very teeny tiny surface. So in other words, it'll be snowing to beat the band this whole way through. Here's a freezing line right around here, so it's just to the left side of that freezing line, which is good news for us. So that means we will be getting plenty of that snow. All right, let's take a look. Here's a look at the Texas Tech model, which I like for severe weather. Now, the aspect of snow, it does have in the kind of the same concentrated area, which is over the southern third of Oklahoma on into the northern third, kind of bounded by that box. All right, so if you live too far south, too far north, you're in neither of the areas, but if you're right smack dab in the middle of the state, you're in the zone, which is good. Now, this particular model does produce a little bit of accumulation with this. It's got in the gray areas, it's up to about, I think, a third of an inch. Third of an inch to half of an inch here from the lighter gray to the darker gray. So it actually has a heavier band down across southern parts of the state. If we look at the snowfall models from earlier today, if we compare them, this is, let's see, that's the UK Met. It's got a lot of snow out here in the Panhandle. I think it got a little excited, by the way. This is a snow lovers model. The European is not quite as excited, but it does have some good snowfall totals up around half inch to an inch here over the, we call it central southwestern areas of the states. So anywhere from a dusting to as much as 1 to 2 inches. The Canadian model, kind of the same idea. So the European and Canadian are very similar. And I like to see that when we're talking about snowfall, by the way, just so you know. Here's a look at the American model. It's like, a little bit out west, but no big deal. High-res version of the NAM, which always gets a little too excited over snow, is actually pretty decent with the European, so that gives us some good confidence. The high-res version of that this morning was a little less, but the new one came in this evening is a lot more, and I'll show you that one here real quick, just because it's always good to have the very latest when you talk about snowfall forecasts from the model data, since they don't do such a stand-up job all the time. All right? That's always the issue with that. So if you look here, about a half inch over central Oklahoma and out to the west. So again, a good dusting. Now, ground temperatures, yes, it's going to be warm. A lot of this is going to melt. And if you remember the timeline, we're talking about Monday evening through, we'll call it late Tuesday morning, which means you'll be asleep for about 75% of this event. And therefore, some of you will be very unhappy because you will wake up and go, where is it all? Well, I'm telling you, a lot of it's still going to melt because of the ground temperatures, but some of it still should accumulate on the grassy surfaces. Here's a look at the ensemble member, and even it's got a blend of all the other models. Still has that sweet spot here right around the metro area of Oklahoma City and back out to the west and southwest. That's kind of like this little sweet spot right there. We'll see if that manages to hold out. Again, snowfall forecast and that kind of a deal is always kind of fun and games. But here's a look at the ensemble blend of that, and we're looking at about an inch to an inch and a half on the median here for Oklahoma City. There's some outliers. The model data is way up there, which is usually ridiculous, and there's some that are a lot lower than an inch. But it kind of gives you the general idea that we've got some action. So that, my friends, is what I have for you. So I hope that was fun and exciting. So yes, it's going to snow. No rain here, at least for a little while. I did peeked at the next potential severe weather day. I believe it was at the 19th. I think it was the 19th month. Basically, next weekend, we made up getting some severe weather at that point in time. But we're pretty far away from that. And I just realized I covered up half of my captioning over there with another program. Sorry about that. So that's another thing I've been toying with is open captioning versus closed captioning. And so a lot of things I got to remember to buttons to press. So like in television, typically you have a director, and the director is what plots up all the sources. The producer is what key ins all the sources. And then, of course, you have the talent that either reads the sources or does what the talent does on the air. So that's 3 jobs that I've combined into one. Plus, I got to think. Good thing I'm still young. My goodness. I get a little older. I don't know how well this is going to work out. But, hey, we're hanging in there. Okay, so let me see what you guys had real quick. I'll peruse the channels. Start out YouTube. By the way, thanks you guys for chatting on the YouTube live chats. Yeah, so you guys are excited, I can tell. Taylor just moved from California. There's a lot of Californians out here. You're gonna love Oklahoma as far as the price of housing and land goes versus out there. Sharon, do you have any comments from Mississippi? Yes, tragic. Saw some of the video coming out of there. That is not good. Prince of Rain wants to know, what do you think of all the different model snowfalls forecasts from the different models? And yeah, they're that's just the way those things are. They don't do a very good job typically at snowfall prediction anyway, even as we get closer to the event. Let's see, you guys on Twitter, Periscope, 40-degree temperature swing is crazy. Yes, it is. Yeah, you know what? Jody's still covering our flowers. We were busy today. Didn't really get around to it. Plus, all that stuff would kind of probably blow off in the wind or something. So do you think this will be our last frost or freeze for 2020? For this week, for sure. Next week or the week after? April can always do some fun and weird stuff. I haven't looked far beyond that time frame because I've been a little busy on other things, building this stuff. But I'll do another Facebook broadcast a little later. We'll take a look more long range stuff and more focused on severe weather, stuff like that. Let me go through your Facebook guys here a little bit. I can see about the last comments. Yeah, Gavin, I saw that on the captioning. I had a window covering it. Sorry, my bad. First one out of the gate after making this whole thing, so it's gonna be a little rocky. I'll get it though. Let's see. Yeah, the old rule of thumb is you don't plant the sensitive vegetation, before Easter. So, Jody McNeil, yes, blessed and busy day. Yeah, it's always good to hold off as long as you can in April, Alexander. So good thinking there. Let's see what else. Go Canadian model, Ron. Right, I'm with you on that one. I'm totally with you. Let's see. You guys are funny. Susie wants me to replace David Payne. That's funny. I know, Kim. Oklahoma, you can get tornadoes and snow typically in the same day sometimes. Scrolling on through. So thanks for leaving your comments. It's just I can't read them all while I'm doing my maps. Then I try to scan as many as I can here at the last second and pick out a few to answer. So Mark wanted to know if the severe and violent weather in the southeast is rare. And the answer is no, it's actually common. So Tornado Alley is a very large region. It covers the southern plains and extends out into the Midwest and the deep south. So those are the most favored areas of tornadoes. But you can pretty much get tornadoes across many areas of the country. Even out west, It's rare, but you can get them out in the Rockies and out in the West Coast. Let's see. So Matt wanted to know if storm season would be shot because of the cold air. Not shot, but delayed in some cases. For us, because remember as those cold air intrusions occur, it shoves all the severe weather parameters to our south and east. So it kind of cleans us out around here and forces all that instability across the southern parts of Texas and then the upper Gulf Coast states and the southeast. So that's their opportunity to get more severe weather in that situation than we are here. So that's something to kind of consider. So once those fronts stop penetrating this far south and stop being as strong in the form of their source regions, in other words, the density of the cold air behind it, then they start to come in more on the mild side. Now, when that happens is they don't have much of a push behind them, and they don't really clear us out. Actually, what happens, it kind of helps to force all that warm and stable air from the Gulf of Mexico in here, and then just kind of sloshes around. Doesn't really go anywhere. The next front kind of comes in, it starts to kind of fall apart. So there's always repetitive boundaries to kind of kick stuff off, because you need a kicker to get those storms to go. So that usually helps out in that aspect of things, and that ought to do it. All right, so I think that's it for me for tonight. I want to thank you for your comments and watching and all that kind of stuff. Got a few bugs here working out, I noticed, as I was doing the broadcast live, but bound to occur. But I guess once I get it all ironed out, I think it's really cool. So again, I want to thank Ferguson Roofing for sponsoring my live broadcasts. I really want to thank all my sponsors actually for helping me out, because it gives me the funds to help purchase equipment that helps to make things a little bit better. So if I can make it better for you, I'm all for it. All right, listen, I guess that's it for me. You guys have a great rest of your Easter evening, and go snow. I'll do a forecast update tomorrow. We'll see what the latest totals are, but again, you can see anywhere from a dusting to about an inch of snow here over central and south central and western Oklahoma that doesn't melt, and so it'd be neat to see. Won't cause any problems. It'll just be one of those deals. All right, everybody, take care. We'll talk again soon. Good night.